teachings. Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, Ragaraja. Sumo, Danchen Ketso, Dupten City, Dupten Kama. All Dharma masters, Dharma lecturers, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma teaching assistants, all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, how do you do? I would like to announce for next Sunday, May 25th at 3 p.m. there would be the transforming Golden Mother. The mudra is the lotus mudra. First, join the palms and open like the lotus, and the two thumbs and the two ring fingers and the two pinkies are touching. And the rest of the fingers are open. That's the mudra. The sixth syllable is Hom. The mantra Om Pecha Jim Munati Soha. Om Pecha Jim Munati Soha. Today we perform Ragaraja, and the mudra is with the middle fingers crossed. Inner claps, and then extend the middle fingers and crossed. That's the mudra, the mantra. Hom cha zi hom ro needs to be chanted separately. He's Vairakana Buddha entering into the heart of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva's heart and transformed into a Vajra deity called Ragaraja. This deity is seated above the precious treasure vase, and above the treasure vase is the lotus, and above it is Ragaraja, one head and 6 arms. This is a magnetizing deity. Deity of love and respect. There are many Dharma practices associated with Ragaraja. First, you need to chant the Ragaraja mantra 300,000 times, and then you will gain spiritual union with your yidam swiftly. So that means that through Ragaraja's media, then it's easy for you to gain spiritual union with your deity. And the second is the practice to cut off evil. One hand holding the bow, one hand holding the arrow, to cut off all evil or negative thoughts. And the practice of drawing his image. By painting his image, after a while you will gain spiritual union with Ragaraja. And love and respect practice. You use red to perform homa, and use the stamens of the lotus blossoms. In performing the homa, you recite the name of the target of your love and respect. That's a very special magnetizing practice. And then the nectar water practice to cure illnesses. And the carving Ragaraja's image, and then hang it on your neck. Then wherever you go, by chanting Ragaraja's mantra, people would love and respect you. And then the exorcism practice. And the detoxification practice, or resolving spells and black magics. And also the magnetizing practice with yin and yang water. All this have been transmitted in the past. There are many Dharma practices associated with Ragaraja. So after chanting 300,000 times of Ragaraja's mantra, it would be very easy for you to gain spiritual union with your yidam. Yesterday at the Seattle temple, the question asked by Lianhua Yenzang from Ireland, he was asking questions about nirvana. So I think the question is, if you are in a state of no thought and non-dwelling, why is there a compassionate heart generated? I forgot to mention in the Vajra Sutra, when the sixth patriarch Hui Neng heard someone chanted the Vajra Sutra, he heard the phrase, the mind gives rise due to the non-dwelling, and this mind is bodhicitta, which is the mind for loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Non-dwelling, non-action, non-action. How come the compassionate mind still arises? So, for no reasons at all, with non-action, non-expectation, and non-dwelling. And I don't think of anything, but still you can have loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. So Hui Neng heard that phrase and gained enlightenment. So it's not for any particular reason. You become a Buddha and you entered Nirvana with non-action, non-dwelling, no expectation. But if you can know that the Saha world is illusory, that everything is unattainable, then you stop there. But you're still compassionate to all the deluded sentient beings amidst the illusion that is called through the unconditioned, the non-dwelling. You give rise to the mind that is non-dwelling. Due to the non-dwelling, the mind arises. Even in Nirvana, with non-action, non-dwelling, and no expectation, you still give rise to bodhicitta. I give this example that the bandit went to a village to rob the villagers. They are evil people. But outside the village there's a well, and a little child was crawling to the rim of the well, and the group of bandits saw the baby was about to fall to the well, so they didn't think much. So they saved the baby and put it aside before they went into the village to rob. So that arose naturally, that the child was about to fall into the well, so they immediately saved them. But they were robbers. So although they were robbers, when they saw the baby was about to fall into the well, they rushed to save the baby. For no reason. So originally there was no reasons, and then you save sentient beings. The same, but the Buddhas have entered Nirvana, non-action, non-phenomena, no non-dwelling. but you still save sentient beings. As the answer to Lotus Yenzang from Ireland yesterday, the sixth patriarch Huineng, because he heard that due to the non-action, the mind arises due to and it's the same with the Buddha. Although the Buddha has entered Nirvana, but he's still delivering sentient beings. The same with the Bodhisattvas. And they deliver sentient beings with no expectations and for no particular reasons. The new question from Singapore by Lianhua Tengqing Amitabha. On the official website, I saw that disciples may use the New Year Peace Mantra to offer blessings and prayers to Grandmaster and Sumo. The heaven is round, earth is square. The 9 codes of divine order are complete. On the first day of the new year, may Grandmaster, Living Buddha Lien Sung, and Sumo, Master Lien Xiang, be safe, healthy, long live, auspicious, and perfect throughout the year. Om Kurian Sang Siddhi Ham, Om Amaroni Chuan Die Soha. Grandmaster, can non-True Buddha school disciples chant for Grandmaster and Sumo? Of course you can, right? Can they also use this to pray for one's parents? Of course, anybody can. And then, can non-True Buddha school disciples chant it for their parents? Of course, of course. There's no differences whether you're True Buddha school disciples or non-disciples. They're all humans. There's no differences. Even when you're not humans, that's okay too. All living beings can. As long as you can chant it, you can do it. That's a very common thing. Anybody can chant it. There's no rule who can and who cannot chant it. Let me share a joke. I went to eat noodles in the afternoon, and the boss turned it over and scolded me. And I said, "Oh, it's okay. Just give me another bowl." But the lady said, "Oh, no good tonight. How about 2 more nights?" And I said, "Fine. But then you need to add another bowl." And she nodded her head. "Okay, however many bowls would be fine." It's a Chinese homophone. Like, give me another bowl. It's like, spend the night with me. A village chief was drunk and got to a pig farm and laid next to a female pig and said, "Honey, wife, give me a glass of water." And the pig was snorting. And then he said, "Hey, what are you doing? Just give me some water." And then he was just rubbing the pig and said, "Are you buying a leather jacket with double breasts?" A wife was boasting to the neighbors about the mink coat, and the neighbor said, "Oh, that's beautiful. Fur coat must be expensive." And the wife said, "No, just a kiss." And the neighbor said, "Oh, your husband is so generous. You just kiss him and he gives you a fur coat?" And she said, "Yes. It's not that he kissed me, he kissed Miss Wang from next door." Xiaohua told Xiaoming, "Why do you often curse?" Xiaoming said, "Because I have to spit out the dirty words for my mouth to be clean." And when Xiaohua heard that, Xiaoming explained further, "If I swallow the dirty words, my heart would be dirty. That's why we have to speak dirty words." A couple was celebrating their wedding anniversary at the restaurant, and in such an atmosphere, the wife was very sweetly asked her husband, "Are you willing to marry me again next life?" And the husband was very emotional and said, "Honey, I'm very happy to meet you in this life, but that's enough. Let me give others the opportunity to be happy too." Now, let's discuss Surangama Sutra. So at this time, the Prasenajit king, the king Prasenajit from Sravasti, rose and said to Sakyamuni Buddha, "In the past, I never heard, before I heard Sakyamuni Buddha's Dharma teaching, I heard from the heretics Dristi, Katyayana, and Virada. So Katyayana, that means the chief head, but a heretic, one of the 6 heretics teachers. He believed that everything is created by Shiva. That's one of the heretical views. So King Prasenajit had met Katyayana and also Virada. What is Virada? Is one with long hair and smeared ash all over the body. Is also one of the heretics teachers. And he believed that after a human dies, that's nirvana. No cause, no effect. He does not believe in karma. He doesn't believe in cause and effect. That death is nirvana. And we saw that when we went to India. They leave their hair, they grow their hair very long, never cut their hair, and they would smear blue, purple ash on their body, and they say that's like a bone ash all over the face and body and limbs and feet, the whole body covered with ash. What we saw was one with long hair, never cut their hair, ash all over the body, just wearing an underwear, right? A cloth. Did you see it so clearly? I saw that. I think it was like next to a ditch, like a thong. So they don't believe in cause and effect or karma. Death is nirvana. So this deviant path teacher said that the body after death is annihilated. That's called nirvana. Though now I encounter the Buddha, doubts still linger within me. How can I recognize and realize this mind, the wondrous, luminous, true mind that is non-arising and non-ceasing? What kind of state is the wondrous, luminous, true mind? All of us in this assembly who still have leakages earnestly wish to understand. Those with leakages, which means those with afflictions, wish to hear Sakyamuni Buddha's teaching on the realm of the wondrous, luminous, true mind. That's this piece. King Prasenajit rose and asked this question. The Buddha told the king, King Prasenajit, your body exists now, let me ask you, is this physical body of yours, like indestructible Vajra, eternal and imperishable? Or is it subject to change and decay? So is your body existing forever, or it can change and decay? The Buddha asked the king. And the king replied, Sakyamuni Buddha, this body of mine will ultimately perish, will die and disappear. I just say it in plain words. And the Buddha told the king, you have not yet perished. How do you know you will perish? You have not died. How do you know you will die? And the king answered, Sakyamuni Buddha, my body is impermanent. Although it has not perished, I observe that each present thought fades away moment by moment, ever shifting and never abiding. Just like fire turning into ash, it gradually burns out and perishes without pause. I am certain that this body will ultimately come to complete extinction. Sakyamuni Buddha, the impermanent body is changing and decay, although it's not dead yet, but I observe that each thought is ever changing. I said last night, the same with the thoughts. A thought appears and disappears, another thought appears and disappears, and one after another, arising and ceasing, non-stop, endlessly. Just like fire turning into ash. It gradually perishes without pause. That's why I know that my body will eventually die. Sakyamuni Buddha said, it is so, great king. Your present age has already entered old age and weakened. How does your appearance compare to when you were a child? They are really different. So King Prasenajit told Sakyamuni Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, when I was a child, my skin was excellent, smooth, supple, and lustrous. And in prime adulthood, my vitality brimful. But now, in the decline of age, how do you pronounce this character? So anybody above 70 years old is called this old age. So now I am close to 70s. Decay presses upon me. My form withered and weak. The vitality has diminished. Complexion sallow, spirit dull. You would drowse every time seated on the Dharma seat. The head is lowered, not like young person, sitting upright and full of vitality. And they walk briskly. In position, stand up straight and move forward. And in the military, I was full of vitality, but in old age, even the walk is different, and complexion sallow, yellowed, and pale, and hair white, and face wrinkled. Death draws near. How could I possibly compare to the vigor I once had? The appearance of the past is gone. Now it's like a withered flower. The complexion pale and sallow, and the wrinkles and the hair white. Sakyamuni Buddha told King Prasenajit, "Great king, your physical decay did not come suddenly, did it?" And the king said, "These transformations occur so subtly and imperceptibly that I do not truly notice them." The Buddha asked, "Did it happen suddenly?" But the king said, "No, the changes are not noticeable. With the passing of the seasons, I have come to this state." Why is that? When I was 20, though still called young, my appearance had already aged from when I was 10. So when one is 20, it's different from 10. And by 30, that's different from 20. And now, at 60, 62, when I look back at 50, I seem strong and vigorous then. So every year it's ever changing. A period is 12 years. But here it talks about a decade. There's a difference every decade. Sakyamuni Buddha, that these changes are subtle, though they mark decline. Occur seemingly within spans of 10 years. But if I reflect more carefully, I realize, is it only every decade or two that these changes occur? In truth, they shift year by year. So, not just every decade, it's every year. There is a difference year by year, and not only year by year, but month by month. And not merely month by month, but even day by day. Upon deep contemplation and careful observation, every instant, every minute, every second, every instant is ever changing, endlessly. So every instant is ever changing. Never stops. Like our thoughts are ever changing every day. Our body too is ever changing every day. Every minute it's changing. The cells die and reborn, and die and reborn again, and not every 10 years or every period of time or every month, and not every day either. Every minute, every second, it's ever changing actually. Just like your thoughts, it's also ever changing. You think this now, think that, and tomorrow and the day after. So every thoughts after thoughts endlessly. Therefore I know this body of mine will ultimately perish through constant change. It will eventually die. That's this excerpt, the dialogue between King Prasenajit and Sakyamuni Buddha. Actually, every one of us cells are ever changing. Look at myself in the past. Every time I come to the Rainbow Temple, I would perform 30 push-ups. And then I found 30 push-ups too hard, so I did 26 times and then 25 times. And last week I still performed 30 times. But this week, I couldn't even do once, because to do push-ups, I have to be on my 2 hands and 2 feet. But with the problem on my feet, I could not even perform once. I couldn't hold my body up on my 2 hands and 2 feet. If I force myself, then my body would not be balanced, and there would be very force. Nowadays, every time at home, I would perform yoga for the legs and for the arms, and also twisting my body. I perform that every night. I have a yoga mat at home. So it's with the head, and perform yoga for the arms, for the legs, and for twisting my body, and which I cannot do anymore. I cannot perform push-ups either. In the past, every time I come to the Rinpo temple, I would perform the Vajra that there was an asana, a posture to jump. And if I jump, I would, because I have pain in my knee, so I could not jump. So fine. Then I don't jump anymore. Now with my thumb, my toe, I cannot do push-ups. I cannot do yogas either. And I cannot do anything now. No exercise. What should I do? And then I had the eczema, the skin hives. Every day to take care of your skin, once in the morning, once at night, and 1 hour each time. The 1 hour in the morning is the time I usually write. So ever since the eczema started bothering me for 3 months by now, in these past 3 months, it's impossible for me to sit quietly on my desk to write my articles. So that's been 1 book missing. So because the time had to be spent in the morning to take care of my skin, to have it lotion twice, medicine, and then the lotion. It takes at least an hour. And then at night, after bath, I need to put on the medicine and then the lotion again for another hour, just to take care of the eczema. It takes 2 hours a day, bothering me for 3 months. It's gradually gotten better now. It's just the mark on my arm. So you need to maintain the skin so that there's no more eczema or hives. Because when it itches, it's impossible to sleep at night. Then I have to sleep in the daytime. And these 2 hours are the time I used to write my book, but then I could not. So fine. So I haven't written book 307, which I had the title In book 306, I already got eczema. So there were a few characters in book 306 that were really horrible because I wrote them while falling asleep. They looked like crawling ants. So I kept correcting them, marking them. It made me upset to see those. And then for book 307, I had the title and that's it. I haven't written even one article yet. So I lack 2 hours every day because of the skin problem. And now I cannot perform push-ups, cannot perform yoga, cannot perform the Vajra pole or Vajra fist or even Tai Chi Chuan. Because when you turn in Tai Chi, you still use your feet. So I have no exercise I can do now. What else can I do? I'll say it later. I have no time. You know, every time I take shower nowadays, just waiting for the hot water. So I do this exercise to maintain your physical stamina. Otherwise, you would lose it. Because now you can do the Vajra fist, you cannot do Tai Chi, you cannot do yoga, you cannot do push-ups. So you can only do this 1, 2, 3, 4, Namo Amitabha. Just punching to the space. That's all the exercise. And Master Lien Seng said there is an exercise while sitting. Yeah, I know. You can lift both of your legs straight, or hug them, or extending left or right legs. That's for babies. What kind of exercise is that? It's different. In the past, I do yoga for the arms, for the legs, for the body, twisting, and push-ups 200 times a day, from youth till old age, without stop, even one day. But now, and writing from high school until now, I have published 4 books in college and non-stop till now, but I was forced to stop now. So how can I live on like this? They said, you injured, harm your feet like that, just stop the group practice and stop the Homa. And then if I stop everything, what is my life for? Just eating and sleeping? Drinking, that's it? That's a meaningless life. Okay, if you want to speak. your disciple believe that your karmic illnesses this past 2 years is because the karma of sentient beings are getting heavier and heavier, and the age is also older and older, and the world is chaotic. So naturally the Dharma bodies and the physical body would absorb all this bad energy. So Grandmaster is taking over the karma of sentient beings because the karma of sentient beings are too heavy. So we feel bad for Grandmaster because Grandmaster burdened the karma of all sentient beings, and that's the compassionate heart of a Mahasiddha. Not intentional, but naturally, because of the compassion. But taking over karma of sentient beings will be eradicated. And Grandmaster, the great fortunate Vajra, is really great. It will gradually diminish, like your eczema. As soon as you took out your arms, they're very lustrous. It's radiant, very beautiful. Although they took over the karma, but once it passes, it's a different realm. So please don't be sad. You will regain your health very fast. Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Please be seated. Although Grandmaster showed that he's very weak, would it be too strenuous for Grandmaster? But the ceremony today, my first time seated here on the altar, although Grandmaster moved very slowly, it's my first time. I could stop my thoughts and then follow Grandmaster's realm and entered. So my first time I could merge with Grandmaster's realm. And I understood what is non-arising and non-ceasing. Because Grandmaster is explaining Surangama Sutra, and nobody understands what the sutra is about. But Grandmaster represents Sakyamuni Buddha, teaching us the sutra. But in the ceremony earlier, it brought me into the realm to know what is non-arising and non-ceasing. And Grandmaster's Dhamma nature is non-arising and non-ceasing. It's difficult to describe with words, but the gurus can lead us into the realm of non-arising and non-ceasing to understand. So in this realm, the wondrous, luminous true mind is right there. You're very pure and very bright. So when Grandmaster is in union with Raga Raja, and he gave us a pile of round diamonds and also semicircle, it's all filled with diamonds in the sky. So such phenomena appeared. Thank you, Master Rinzhe. I feel the suffering of Simu this time. I also feel myself that Simu's suffering is even more so. In the past, she could not follow the assembly of masters, and now she could not even leave the house. She can't even leave the house. That post-op, the post-surgery period, about 3 to 6 months, she's recovering. But luckily, she has an excellent son, Fochi, very filial, and a daughter, Foqing, who's also very filial. And the two of them took turn to take care of their mother 24 hours. Foqing and Foqi are very filial toward their mother. When Foqi's mother was ill and in surgery, only slept 2 hours a night. And he was at the hospital, at the emergency ward, at the surgery waiting room to accompany Semu. And Foqing and Foqi are very filial. And that's the comforting part. I see that and feel that these two children, although they grew up in America, they still have the traditional filial piety of children toward their parents. That's very rare. But I find my own work has diminished. And the meaning of life is gone too. I cannot ride, I cannot do many exercises, so I cannot maintain my physical stamina. It's the same as the king Prasenajit, that day by day it diminishes. It cannot be rejuvenated, it cannot return. Having physical body is really a suffering. Without the physical body, like my Dharma bodies, they can go everywhere with no illness, no pain, and maintain the same appearance. That's called the body of Dharma nature, or Dharma body. Can be like that. So every one of us in our spiritual cultivation, if you cultivate your own wondrous, luminous, true mind to become the Dharma bodies, then you would eternally exist, and that is non-arising and non-ceasing. But the physical body will still perish and enter nirvana, will go through birth and death. When there is birth, there must be death. When there is arising, there would be ceasing. All the same, that's impermanence. Everything is impermanent. So now I experience what is. Everything is impermanent. Everything has no self, and nirvana is extinction. These three Dharma seals. I am experiencing them now. If this is so, like what Master Lien Tzu has said, the Dhamma body is ever present. I hope everyone will remember to be diligent, to cultivate spiritually, to gain spiritual union, to go to the Buddha land, Pure Land and Buddha verses. Only that is eternal. Thank you, everybody.